Okay, hello everybody, and I am so glad we are here. Let's recap on a couple of things from our last meeting first, because there's been some interesting developments. So, one of the things that I wanted to reiterate was that Bertha's message from earlier today regarding Google Documents. So I did not realize, because in my mind, Google Documents was just our way of putting the information out there so that we are sharing the information. And yes, of course, we would discuss here, but based on the feedback that Bertha got from the lawyer, we can't use a shared Google Doc, which makes it a little bit harder for us to collaborate. So I guess we can send emails, right, Bertha? So instead of a
Yeah.
Google Doc, do we send emails back and forth?
So if you actually, so everything needs to be, every discussion needs to be made public, right? So
Right.
what you discussed today, of course, it's already public. But when it comes to Google Docs, what the attorney relayed is that it could be considered a meeting, even if it's through, electronic means. So instead, to send information via email, whether it's, reports, documents, and specify do not reply all, so that you're not exchanging ideas electronically, because that's could not consider a public meeting. And instead, send it to me and I will circulate to the full group
Okay.
so that you can discuss in your next meeting and be open.
Yeah.
Right?
The problem is, once it's a shared document, that counts as an electronic meeting.
Yes. Yes.
And we haven't. So the question is, Bertha, what if we just make it, open to anybody with the link, but then that means that people don't have the link, right?
Right. So we would need to make the link public, which again, I think we're opening ourselves up to,
So
it.
So yes, that's actually a good point from Ilhan. So the way that I set up the Google Doc was I made it private to just our group, so only our group can see it. However, I can change that so that only our group can edit it, but it is viewable to everybody, right? So then it
That
becomes a public link, and then that can be on the website as well, right? So if
Or
people
do
want to see our discussion, they can see our discussion at any point.
that's actually an excellent point. Let me circulate back to our council attorney, and then I'm happy to provide further guidance on that.
Sure.
So Adela, so let's make it more specific. So what Adela can do is make all of us in the meeting owners, so that we can all edit. So you're the
Yes.
owner, Adela. We have
Yes.
editing rights.
Yes.
And anybody with the link, aside from us, anybody with the link has the right to view. And
Yes.
then you can post the link when we have, the link is open, anybody can view the documents, which should be okay, because the Montgomery County has links, right? It's got all kinds of stuff that are open. So as long as we post the link publicly, that should be, then it becomes open again.
And everything's going on our website, your agendas,
Yes.
Zoom
Yes.
registration
Yes.
link goes up on the website. So certainly it could be included in the agenda.
Yeah.
Right. So the link could be included in the agenda of every meeting, right? And and so that makes it open. And then Adela, you have to go in and make sure that anybody with the link can view, and then put our name specifically, committee members, as people who can edit.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's how it is. Only you can edit right now. Bertha was a viewer. That's why she couldn't download the document earlier.
Okay.
Then I made her editor. So, but yeah, once it's approved, then I can.
Yeah, that should be right, because the county does that. Everything on the county is once it's all on links. So those are all public meetings. So that should be fine, because that's the way the county operates. So I mean, she should check, but I'm pretty sure that'll be okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for this feedback. I'll take it back and get back to you.
Okay, so that takes care of that development. Another thing was regarding our, I'm just going to go with some of the logistics first so that we have them out of the way. We had not defined whether we were meeting next week or not. Do we want to meet next Monday?
Could we move that meeting to Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, the 30th?
So, or Tuesday, so because it's Labor Day?
No, we're not, it's not Labor Day. Next week is the 28th.
Oh, okay, why would we not be meeting on the 28th?
Oh, just because we had not
Oh, okay.
discussed it. So I'm okay with meeting on the 28th.
And
Right?
the 29th is a full task force meeting, and the Jewish cohort is doing their presentation on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you have back to back.
So Bertha, do they have anything posted? Does the Jewish cohort have anything posted that we could look at, or it's just their meetings are just on
No,
the?
so their meeting is actually coming up, right, this week?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So
It's
they're
their first meeting, right?
yeah.
So their first meeting is tomorrow. You can sign up on the website. I did sign up and register so that I can attend.
Right, and then the presentation is next Monday, so they
Next Tuesday,
next
Next
Tuesday, okay.
29th. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're not doing anything in a Google Doc, so all the magic happens tomorrow. So we're good with the 28th, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're
I think we
meeting.
should, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's a short meeting, I think it's just good to get, we can meet frequently and make them short rather than.
Yes,
yeah.
I agree. Especially if we can't do a Google Doc and collaborate
Right.
offline.
Right.
Then I'm fine with this. Now the other one was the one that listening session. So we had talked about a listening session on or the week of September 11th. You were concerned, Ilhan, that we don't want to do it specifically on September 11th, right? Did you still think about it?
Well, some people thought it was better that we had it on September 11th, but I thought September 11th might have other activities, school activities or whatever. I thought it might be full for some people.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything yet. School activities are going to be all over the place, right? I don't know when different back to school nights are and so on and so forth, but I don't want to do it on a weekend. We could.
So let me look at the September calendar. So the 11th is Monday, huh?
Yeah.
This listening session.
So if there's any activities happening related to September 11th, I think they would happen on the weekend.
Okay. All right. I think that sounds good then. We can have it on September 11th. Maybe it is, fortuitous that it just falls on that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
and we can actually talk about, President George Bush's, at the time, then President George Bush's efforts to really make it safe for Muslims right after 9/11. And it was he who, actually sort of stopped all of the anti-Muslim hate that could have arisen out as a result of September 11th. So we can bring that up.
So, how long do we want it to be? 1 hour, 2 hour, 1.5 hour, 7 to 8:30?
I think I'd rather make it a little bit later and give people a chance to get their kids dinner and get them to be ready for.
I'm all for late meetings. This is early for me.
Yeah. I think
maybe we could start at 8 o'clock. That would probably will get more participants.
Yeah, I think 8 is better.
Okay.
And did you do the flyer? Was that your artwork? That was
So
terrific.
Thank you. So there were actually 2 flyers. One, when Bertha sent her email, there was a flyer in there that I totally missed. And I apologized to her earlier today. I'm like, I just saw it today. If I had known she had done the flyer, I would not have even bothered.
Yeah.
But then Umber asked for the flyer and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't done this. I have a cold and let me just do this flyer. So
I think this flyer is terrific. I love it.
So, okay, hold on. Bertha, do you have your flyer handy so we can just see both the flyers?
I put both of them in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this one, the one you just put is yours too. Let me open up this one. I have a quick question. Oh, this is cute. Oh, yes. Bertha, you know why I don't like this one? I'll tell you. It's too busy for me. I mean, I love it. Don't get it wrong. But somebody with ADD, I looked at it. I go, too much. I couldn't even read it. So I have a feeling there's a lot of Muslim ADD folks out there because everybody I talked to has it. So, yeah, it was a bit too busy for me. The other thing I wanted to ask, and that Bertha's did have, and then Adela's didn't, is MoCo. I always have to, it's stupid me, I've been involved with county activities, you know, Adela, for years and years, and I still have to say, what is MoCo again? So, I mean, I think we should say Montgomery County.
Okay, I think mine said
have to
MoCo.
think about it. Yours
Yeah.
said MoCo, yeah.
Yeah.
And if, you know, but you can outvote me on that. It might just be my particular peeve that I have, that I'm too stupid to be able to keep it straight. But
So, no, I can change it to Montgomery County. Bertha, can I share my screen? Sorry.
Yes, let me make you a co-host. It's funny that you mentioned moco, because moco in Spanish, it's actually booger. So I
Oh
remember
my gosh.
my former boss, Nancy Navarro, she would always tell me,
oh,
no,
mucos, yeah, mucos from your
moco. She's
nose.
like, don't
Yeah,
put moco, no moco, because
yeah,
that's
right. Yeah, imagine the Hispanic community.
So I was just being saving space. I will not
Yeah.
save space, and I will just spell out the Montgomery County. I did
You
not.
can make that 3 lines. You can say Montgomery County, and then underneath of that, Anti-Hate Task Force Muslim Cohort.
Okay.
Just make that into 3 lines. I think that'll be good.
Okay. And then I'll add the time here, and what else? The register. So I put the task force page here.
Uh-huh.
However, I can put a registration link. So Bertha, do you want people to look at the link and be able to register, or should they go here?
we
Oh.
can, yeah, we can do both, but I can actually also send you make a QR code,
Yes, that would be better.
a Zoom link, so that we can also post it there. So there's like multiple ways that people can.
3 ways, Adela, all 3 ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This was too much typing for me. So I'm like, if somebody has to type this, they're gonna say, oh, forget that. But the QR code is the way to go.
Well, we should be able to click on it. You should be able to attach a hyperlink
Yeah,
to
so
it.
the problem with PDF is PDF is great because PDF has the link, right? But if you make it a picture so that we can easily share it in WhatsApp, then the link goes away.
Right.
So the only thing that works for a PNG is the QR code. So the QR code is the best option in that case.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And then when you put a PDF in a WhatsApp chat, because I use WhatsApp a lot,
Yeah.
it kind of truncates half of the flyer. So you don't see
Right.
the full flyer, then
Right.
it loses its effect.
And Dila, if you want to use what I just chatted as well, that's what we've been using for the tiny URL.
Okay.
We use Bitly. So if you just
see?
stick with
Instead
that
of the
one,
long thing.
then see, and it's shorter, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will change that then. Okay. How do I stop sharing?
Great.
Pause share.
Nicely designed.
It's beautiful, right? I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I use Canva because I do a lot of flyers for food distributions and stuff like that. So Canva is my cheat sheet. It's just easier to use.
How do you spell that? K-A-N-W-A?
Oh, CANVA.
V-A, Canva.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Canva. Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All of the, sorry, I have a cold, so whatever I'm saying right now is just harder to hear. Okay. What else? Okay, I will take a breather. Anybody else have anything you want to share while I get my thoughts together?
What's next on our agenda?
So next on our agenda is development of policy recommendations. So we did the recap from last discussion.
I added stuff on that. I thought that was really good. Did you see the stuff I added? So if we could bring that up and then
Sure.
share your screen so everybody can see it, for the public can see it.
Not go into order. The flyer was supposed to be next. And I actually had another recommendation, so I have a 0.5 as well. How do I do this? Why is it giving me stop recording? I don't want to stop recording. Sorry, I need to remember how to share my screen again.
Right down at the bottom, it's that green, it's the green arrow in the middle.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay. You see my screen now?
Yeah, can you just zoom in on just the document itself? Just make it bigger. Yeah, do you know how to do that?
I do, but where's my Zoom in there? Actually, you could have shared your thing. Hold on. You
Right here, down, down, down. You see 100% right there? No, look, let go. Move your, turn that off. Yeah, right there. You see 100%, right where you had it up at the top.
Right here.
it is 100% right now.
Now make it 150, for example, or something.
Okay, there. Better?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, this is great.
Okay.
What is a hate crime? How is it defined? I just want to share something with you. Yesterday morning, I tested the congregants in my masjid, and then and it was about 60 people in the attendance, and I asked them 2 questions. You know, are you experiencing hate crimes, and if you like to, you know, to contribute, what would you do to eliminate or reduce the hate crime? But out of the many, only 3 people spoke. They were kind of, so we do need to do something to
We need to talk about this often, right? We need to talk about it continuously.
yes, yes. But I just want to give you a little window of real. It was by chance, because somebody who was supposed to, the speaker did not show up, so I took over the microphone on impromptu. But the participation is very, very minimal.
Well, part of the problem, I'll tell you, Brother Firdaus, is that this first question I put up there, what is a hate crime? When you ask that question, I mean, have you experienced hate crimes? A lot of people don't know.
Yes.
And I was one of
Yes.
them.
Yes.
So I started listing, is this a hate crime? Is this a hate crime? None of those things are hate crimes. You could have somebody with a rifle standing in front of a masjid during Friday prayers. That is not a hate crime. You can have 4 people with rifles standing in front of a masjid, as long as it's legally registered to them.
Mhm.
In front of, you know, during Friday prayers, that is not a hate crime.
Yes, and the reason I brought it up, because I see your adding comments here, which is right, you know, right on the spot. I believe we do need to have some kind of upgrading in understanding what hate crime is.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And I think, you know, in terms of the anti-hate, you know, what are we? We're the anti-hate
Task force.
task forces.
task force, right? We're not an anti-hate crime task force. We're an anti-hate task
Correct.
force, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that we should talk about saying, look, we're working against hate. And obviously in that discussion, we come up with the issues of hate crimes, but hate crimes only compose a percentage of all of the incidences of hate that you know, people may experience. And I think that that's, you know, once you start breaking that up for people, then it becomes more interesting, and people can, you know, they have something to think about. But when you give them something huge, you know, like a well-cooked meal, and you say, okay, so how did you prepare? How does one prepare this? Most people say, I have no idea, you know, so it's too much.
Yeah. Okay. And then community outreach. Make a commitment to reach out to all the Muslim organs in the county, try to develop inter-Muslim events that will include unmasked people. So these things are something that we're giving to the county, right? One of the things that we need to think about is, who do we suggest will be doing these, right? In terms of, if you look at the county structure, do we think this is the county council doing some of these things? Is the onus on the Kate's organization? Are we saying there is a anti-hate committee? Do we want the anti-hate committee to own this? Which I think they should. So that's one of the next layers that we need to kind of think about in terms of, yes, we want these to happen, but we can suggest, we think this such and such organization would be a great fit for some of these areas.
So I wrote these things as edits.
Yeah.
If you want to accept these, and I mean as suggestions, if you want to accept them into the document, then we can include them. But I only put them in as suggestions because I didn't know if you guys would agree with those suggestions. But Adla, I think that your point is really right on, because we have to identify those people in the county that should be involved in anti-hate activities in the county.
Yes.
And we have to find out exactly, we should start by making a list or something. And I'm sure the other groups are doing the same. I feel like, Bertha, that should be something done by all of us together, not individually. Like, we shouldn't all have to reinvent the wheel separately. That there should be one, that all of us together should come up with a list, or the county can provide us at least a basic list of, here's the people that would be involved in countering hate in the county. They would be county council members through their outreach, through their public statements. It could be the county executive. It could be Kate Chance's office. I have very little faith, and I know that this is a public meeting, but I have very little faith in the Office of Human Rights in the county. And I'll go on record as saying why I have very little faith in that, because the Office of Human Rights, first of all, cannot do anything, is there to supposedly get complaints that people have, but also the director of the Office of Human Rights was very much involved in overseeing the surveillance of Muslims in 2014 to 2016, which I thought is not appropriate. So I have a real problem with that.
I'm going to accept both these comments. We do need to reach out.
And I can start working on that list too, Ilhan.
Great. And also, Bertha, if you could, what should I call you, Bertha? Should I call you Bertha or Bertha? What should I call you?
Bertha, they're both fine with me. Thanks.
It's really interesting because my mother's name is Bertha. And
yeah.
So I want to call you Bertha, but
yeah, no, so that's the pronunciation of my name, Bertha.
Okay, great.
And you should correct us. We should call you the right way.
Yeah, so Bertha, if you could, I don't know if you already have said this, but if you could share that with the other groups and say, this is something that that the Muslim cohort wanted, and said that rather than each group doing it individually, there ought to be one list that can be, given to everybody, or, that everybody should help put together, or whatever. Yeah.
Can work on that. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Contact Terry. I actually started looking at ISPU data as well, Ilhan. So it's interesting you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with them, Adela?
Yes, I am, very much so.
I think what I find really interesting is that there is a very strong correlation between anti-Jewish sentiment and anti-Muslim sentiment.
We've actually done events like that where we've talked about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia at the same time, and kind of shown how it's two sides of the same coin. So yes, I do agree with that.
And could I just make a suggestion? And I think that I would love to sort of suggest this, to people in the county also, because Islamophobia, it's anti-Muslim sentiment. Islamophobia doesn't really define it for me, and a lot of Muslim organizations are moving away from that to naming it anti-Muslim sentiment. But I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's why I use the term in that suggestion I put there.
We need some more description of microaggression. So I just captured these points from last time. One of the other things that I wanted to add here was, thank you, Bertha, for the information that you sent out regarding the grant information. There was actually another grant that came out recently, and we were all surprised by it. This was actually a conversation that we were having in a WhatsApp with a bunch of Muslim leaders, where nobody seemed to be aware of when that grant came. And I personally, in Montgomery County, watch every single grant that comes out, just so that I'm aware of it. Then I realized it was actually not a Montgomery County grant. It was actually a governor's grant that came out for anti-hate stuff. And somehow we kind of missed it. And then I was going through my emails. I'm like, Kate didn't send it out. So we might have missed it, but it was a lot of money. So I'll send that to you via email. I really want to know if it was actually shared either via any of the county channels or by Kate also sends out grant information. If it was even shared with the nonprofits in Montgomery County. There are some Montgomery County nonprofits that got it, but I think those are the ones that get it every year. So that's how they were on a specific list. They found out about it. But then all these other organizations that are still impacted by hate, they didn't even hear about it, right? So if you're not listening to the governor's channel, then you should still be finding out. Nonprofits still should be finding out about tons of money that's available to solve some of these issues. And then I'm not sure how they're spending their money, right? Because if they're putting programs into place using either state funding or county funding, putting cameras and fences, and that's one kind of physical security. But if you're taking money for putting together some programs, then I wish there was a way that the county would make those programs visible to the greater community, right? So that if we can at least make sure that other people attend them as well. So that was something that just popped in this week because
if you have the name of the grant, you can share it right now just so I can jot it down. Otherwise, I'll Google and then
I will actually find it in a second. Sorry, I have too many windows. I don't want to go through all my windows. Stop sharing. Protecting PAHC, protecting against hate crimes. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. County also has an Office of Grants Management. So I'm gonna check in with the director as well.
I don't know, how many of those grants were given out?
I can actually share my screen since I found it now. This is the amount of funding that went out. Sorry, do you see it?
Yeah, it's coming on now. Make your screen bigger. Can you do that?
Yeah.
No, this one right here.
Where was the Zoom? I lost the Zoom.
We're on and we can see the document. You can just pull it from the
Oh yeah, it's right here. Sorry, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the amount, the majority of the money seems to have come to Montgomery County, right?
What is that? That's 100,000.
1 million.
How much money is that? 1 million?
Yeah.
87,000? What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So go down to Montgomery.
1,087,000.
Yeah, I'm having trouble reading that kind of money. All right, so let's see. Look at Montgomery County and see what it says.
So Montgomery County is right here. There's the Methodist Church, and then you go here, and these are the rest of the organizations. So I don't know how much each one of them got individually. But then there are a bunch of organizations in Montgomery County. I just don't know whether we didn't hear anything or whether we kind of totally.
Come down to the first column. I can't see the bottom of the first column. Where does Montgomery County start?
Montgomery County actually starts on the top.
Oh, okay, right there, Mount Zion. It starts at Mount Zion right there.
Yes, and then it goes to Bender, JCC.
So there's one. Methodist church that got it, and then keep going down. There's a Catholic church that got it, and then keep
There's
going down.
Muslims MSS agency.
So if you look at the list that Bertha sent, it had so many different congregations that
Right.
got the county one, right? That means they
Right.
applied, they made that effort, right? So
Right.
if either
Right.
people didn't apply or there was a lot of money given to a few organizations. So I think in this case specifically, I don't think people knew about it. So if you
Well, I
know
think
about a
it
certain
would-
grant, you get the updates. So I think that's probably what happened in this case.
Well, if they knew about it, they would have, I mean, MCC would have applied, all those other big mosques
Yes,
would apply for the
yes.
other ones,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
they
So
didn't apply to this.
yeah. So
There's 2 or 3 churches that applied. And
yes,
got
there are some grants like that where if
Oh,
you
Anjumani Ezi. Who's this? Who's this Anjumani Ezi group?
have absolutely no idea. So
New Hampshire Avenue. It's a religious institution. Oh, you know what this is? Who is this?
okay, so we won't go further into that. We're gonna
Yeah.
run out of time. So anyway, that was one of the points that I had was grant information, right? So there has to be a way of better communicating grants to all the nonprofits, right? The nonprofits are registered. If we need to register them with Montgomery County, let's register them, have a list of all the nonprofits so that whenever a grant comes out, we're sending that information out to everybody, not the big organizations, the big mosque, the big church, the big synagogue. Even the little guy should at least find out about this information, just in case they have somebody in their congregation that wants to spend the effort to apply. I think it's, if you don't know, you don't know, but we should make an effort to push the information out to the smaller guys because that they probably need the funding more. So
Right, they have less.
yeah, less resources. Okay. Anything else in terms, I do have one question, Bertha. So because we can't collaborate, for as we start honing down some of these comments and we start to put our slides together, all of those have to be working sessions because we can't share a document, or can we do the same thing? Can we share our PowerPoint and that way all of us can collaborate and edit it, and that's fine. It can be visible to everybody.
Yeah, let me, based on, the earlier conversation, I'll have
Yeah.
to ask our
Okay.
attorney for guidance. So yes, let's put a pin on that.
Yeah. Okay. So because if the attorney says no, then we'll have to kind of just have a working session where we're kind of, I can start with a draft slide, set of slide deck, but then we'll have to kind of update it during our meeting to kind of come up with what we wanted to say. And I really want points from our listening sessions captured. Okay. One question regarding the listening session. Do you want me to create a Google document? And the reason I'm saying that is not a Google document. I'm sorry.
A Word document.
No, a form where people can give feedback. What is it called? It's called a form, right? Yeah, where people can
Like a poll, like a
poll, right? If they want to give anonymous feedback, they can't attend the meeting, but they want to give some feedback, then that way they can do that, right?
Yeah.
So everybody might not be comfortable sharing their information. So
we
it
can
can
create, we can create a questionnaire, a
Yes.
Google questionnaire.
Yeah.
And just say, answer any of these questions. I mean, we could put some questions in there as prompts. And say,
Yeah.
you don't need to answer any of these questions, but they give you an opportunity to voice your opinions, and maybe get you thinking.
Yeah.
And they don't have to put their names if they don't have to. We can say, your names are optional.
Yes.
Where you live is optional. Your race is optional. Your gender is all optional. If it would help us know more if you included it, but you don't have to include anything.
Correct.
here.
So when you do a Google form, you can say that don't get any information from them, in terms of name and email address.
No,
So
no,
we can
but
make it
people, no,
optional.
but people don't want to put it in there. They don't
Yeah.
trust that.
Yeah.
So
So
what, the way
how are you planning to distribute that form?
I'm sorry?
How am I going to distribute that? I was just going to add it to the flyer,
Oh, okay.
right? So the flyer could have provide your feedback anonymously or whatever. We can just say questionnaire, right? So if somebody
Right.
goes and clicks on the questionnaire and chooses to fill that out, they can fill it out.
Yeah. And Adela, you don't, I know that it says don't collect that, but that people don't understand how that works.
Okay.
So I just did a form like that where a questionnaire like that where I said every question was optional, you know, and in the beginning I said every question is optional, and then I included optional in every sentence. So people knew.
Well, there is a program called Monkey something,
Yeah.
right?
SurveyMonkey.
Yeah.
Survey Monkey. So is it too heavy to use or for this?
Well, I mean, the Google form for questionnaires is so easy to use.
Yes.
So easy to use. Okay.
Yeah, I use Google Form as well. It's just, I'm sure SurveyMonkey is easier as well, but we just have been Google Form.
It's just one other thing to learn when you're old, and my brain has already told me I'm not allowed to learn anything else.
Do you want to put that form together, Ilhan, and we can review it next Monday?
When would you like it, the form by?
Well, we have to review it together.
Okay.
So if you put it together for our meeting next Monday, then we can shake hands on it and
Okay.
we can send it to Bertha. She can email it to us, but we can't agree on it till our next meeting.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we can look at it. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a survey of hate crime incidences, or what am I doing? What kinds of questions am I asking them?
So you're asking them if they want to share a hate crime incident.
Not hate incidences, because we're a hate task
sorry,
force.
not crime. Yes.
Right. So have you experienced any incidences of hate? Have you experienced any instances of prejudice because you felt because of your Muslim identity? Have you experienced is that right? You don't like that?
And I'm also looking for suggestions, right? So we're coming up with these recommendations on our own, right? So some of these are our recommendations. I want to see if people have recommendations, whatever they are. Some of them might be more for the Muslim community to do themselves. But it would be nice to hear.
Okay, so suggestions for community, suggestions for county.
Yeah.
Suggestions for the state. Maybe we could ask them about the state. Suggestions for schools.
Yeah.
Suggestions for community centers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For your listening session on September 11, if you want to consider having, I know how we did for the kickoff meeting, where the state's attorney presented on what a hate incident was. If you want to include that as part of the agenda, I can start checking with, his office for availability, or if there's anybody else who can come. It's totally up to you. I'm just throwing it out there in case you want to consider that.
Bertha, I would rather have a Muslim speak if we could get a Muslim to speak, because sometimes when people are in elected offices speak, they get very into the weeds for one thing. And I would just rather have A, B, C, just say this would be considered a hate crime. These things, as horrific as they are, would not be a hate crime, but they would be hate incidences. Here's what you could do about it, and here's the know your rights. I mean, there's organizations that have know your rights. Does MCC have a know your rights person that could come and talk that evening?
I'm ICM, not MCC.
ICM, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I could reach out to Care National and ask somebody from there to speak.
Oh yeah, I mean, even Zainab could come and list those things. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could say, Zainab, we need 10 minutes of your time, and then you can leave.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the thing about Zainab is she's very fast, she's very articulate, she knows what she's talking about, and then that would be it.
And she has I guess visibility in Montgomery County as well. We do want Muslim organizations to be, or people to be reaching out to Muslim organizations when they
Right. And also, do you know who's at MCC civil rights person right now? I thought there was a woman first. Do you know who that would be?
Are you talking about Diva?
Yeah, Deba.
Yeah.
We
I
should
do-
get Deba to join us, or come or something. Let's reach out to her to have come to either to the next meeting or to the listening session. We should get her involved.
No, I think Sister Samira was actually supposed to attend today. She had registered,
Uh-huh.
but maybe she was not able to make it. I think we need to advertise our general meetings as
Right,
well,
right.
in some of our chats. We're just so focused on our upcoming date.
Yeah,
We're still getting
right.
our feet wet. Any other suggestions? Brother Firdaus, you've been quiet, so I'll let you talk a little.
No, because you are spot on. I'm speechless. Both of you are spot on. So, but as far as the I did reach out last night. I had dinner with Brother Habib. From MCC. He's the director of whatever.
Yeah.
Director of everything. So he agrees to have some kind of and I mentioned about this cohort group, and he agrees to support and to bring in people from other masjids that has not attended here, and particularly for the 9/11 September 11th plan of listening. And I think we can tap into that idea and drive to get many participants on.
Okay.
I think also if there's a meeting for parents at the Sunday schools, like the MCC Sunday school. I don't know if your masjid has a Sunday school, but
All
there's
masjids have a Sunday school.
all masjids. So okay, so there's there's a meeting for parents, like the first day of Sunday school or something. If they could somehow include that by the way, there's a listening center session you might want to attend, especially for your kids to talk about.
Yeah, good idea. Yes, I will distribute it to the madrasa director.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll update the flyer, send it out, with the date and stuff like that. We can have the masjid send it out via their newsletters as well, right? Now we're gonna have two flyers, I guess, if we send out the flyer now. One is without the forms link, and then we can add the forms link later on, which is fine, right?
It's
Okay.
good to send it out twice anyway. So
Yeah. So I do want to send out the date so that people are aware that this is happening.
Mhm.
And then once we have more updates, we can add to that. Also, I had reached out to Kate regarding the next meeting for the community on hate and violence. But I guess they don't share their meeting invites till the week of. So Kate said once she'll have it, she has it, she'll send it to us. I'm not quite sure why it's not posted. So I guess the attorney didn't say anything, but
But see, that's the county executive side, so there's so many different layers, but it should be one uniform.
it should be. Yeah. So I should not have to chase people or that I know to get a link to that information, right? So that information actually should be coming to the entire task force, right? It should be a resource for the entire task force, where the entire task force should be told, hey, this is a meeting that you should be attending, because they might be the ones that carry the torch forward, right? For some of the recommendations that most of us are making.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to get back to what you had said. Where's the sheet that had the questions? Hold on one second. Report recommendations. Okay. How do you report hate crimes? How do you report and get money for incidences involving damage? Number
Yes.
B, 1B.
Yes.
Well, if you look on the Office of Human Rights, it says you can report here and we'll take it up and things like that. So I don't know how much that office does, but Berta, I have a job for you. Okay? I would like to know the actual numbers of the Office of Human Rights. How many hate crimes have been reported to them? How many have they actually looked at? How much, what were the results? Yeah, what were the results? I mean, does this office actually do anything? And if it, I'd really love to know what that office does.
No, so the
Oh.
reason that I put this action item B was because I attended the meeting for the community. One, that question was asked, right? If you remember during our task force meeting, she
Yeah.
mentioned that there was a fund allocated where people could get money for damages and stuff like that, right? But none of us in that room knew about it. So
Right. And I just opened up that's why I'm on the webpage of the Office of Human Rights. Let me see if I can bring it up again. I'm going to post it as soon as I get it. Okay, here it is. And if you see in here, it says that, where is this?
this one, hate and violence by the committee.
No, this isn't it. This is the Office of Human Rights.
Okay.
And if you look, it says about us. So let me post this for you. Can I send something? How do
You
I
can
post
put it in the chat.
Well, chat is disabled for me.
Oh, sorry about that. I can make you a co-host. Let me see.
Here it is. I got it. Okay. So if you look at that page, it says that there's it was when I was reading it earlier, it says that victims of hate violence can seek compensation for replacement of property through the county's partnership fund administered by the Office of Human Rights. Do you see that? It's the second paragraph on this page.
Yes.
Right. So I want to know, Berta,
How much people have been compensated?
yeah, how many complaints have they actually gotten? And a year marker. Like, I don't want them to say 25 and it's over 25 years. I mean, I'd
1
like
year, right? In year, let's say 2022 and in 2023, right?
Right. Yeah. So how many people have actually filed complaints? How many of those complaints have actually been investigated? How many what were the results of those, sort of a FOIA request?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I consider this a FOIA request. Yeah. Through my lovely Berta here. Okay.
I'll follow up. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And again, this is the same thing, I think once we get this information, I'm sure the other groups would also be interested, like the African American group might be interested in this, saying, guess what, you can actually.
So one of the things I guess might be helpful, and this is just a suggestion, is all the information that you're getting for us and for the various teams, maybe you put it in your Google folder, and that way it's accessible to everybody, right? All the teams, so that in case they're thinking of the same thing, it might already be there, whether you got it or whether Selena got it.
Absolutely. I think that's such a great suggestion.
Yeah, because I might not be thinking of ideas, but if other people have asked that question, then I would definitely go through the information and read it. I'm like, oh, okay. So, okay. One more thing, as we were keeping tabs on other interfaith events that might be going on, or meetings and stuff like that. There are a couple of cohort meetings that are coming up, but apart from that, I haven't heard through other county channels, and I think I get most of everybody's newsletters as well. I haven't heard of any other events that are upcoming. So I wanted to kind of share that. I was surprised. I'm like, it's end of summer, but I think most of the organizations at this time are just more focused on getting school bags and so on and so forth. So that was it. What else? Do I have anything else left on the agenda? Sorry, go back to that. We did the virtual listening session, flyer approval. Our next meeting is next Monday. And what is our homework? We do need to have some homework. We gave Bertha homework. What's our homework?
My homework is to do this survey.
Yes, your homework is to do the survey. I'll clean up the document a little bit.
Are you going to
And
reach out to Zainab?
yes, I will talk to Zainab as well.
Okay, and Brother Firdaus, if you could talk to MCC about getting the well, and different messages actually to about getting the flyer announced in the listening session, you know, announced in their Sunday schools. That would be really useful.
Yeah, will do.
Okay.
And I will reach out to American Muslim Senior Society as well. Because one of the great points that I think at some meeting one of you had mentioned was besides kids, we do need to talk to seniors about hate crimes as well, right? Again, it's the more vulnerable, either the kids or the seniors that are generally targets. So I do want to make sure that they can get the word out so that we have seniors attend as well. Okay, and
Doctor, who's this person? Kyun Nguyen. How do I say that person's name?
Equin.
Equin. Okay, Equin. Thank
Where
you.
do you see that? Because I changed it. So I'm using Equin's account. So our office Zoom account, our office only has.
Oh yeah, for
the-
the invitation authentication, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
so it
Yeah.
comes from her. Apologies. I should have clarified that from the get-go. So she's one of my colleagues and she's more, you know, on the technical side of things who helps us with all the recordings, all the Zoom links, getting everything up on YouTube. So if you see her name, she's basically my teammate.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Ilhan, anything else you wanted to share?
So next week's agenda is
Next week agenda is we're one looking over the document
the document. Okay.
forms with Ilhan. We are kind of strategizing our listening session as well. So we need to kind of brainstorm a little bit in terms of times and how to steer the conversation there. It might get emotional and we don't want one person to keep talking for 20 minutes, right? Because of whatever happened to them. So we want to give people the chance to be able to talk. So let's discuss more on, in terms of making sure we're listening to everybody, but we're actually facilitating more people so that we can hear more ideas. And we can divide who the moderator is and who's moderating the chat and so on and so forth. So we can kind of divide that up a little bit as well. So we'll focus on that aspect of it. As far as the recommendations are concerned, in the background, always we need to be working on the recommendations. So we have some there. I think we need a total of 5, but let's try to have more so that we can kind of say these are our top 5. We're not there yet. So Ilhan, whenever you get a chance, microaggressions, I forgot what you had meant by it. So
Yeah, I have to do some research on that and see what people, you know, I mean, ISPU might have a list of what is a microaggression. So we could
yeah,
just
it's more of a how do we think that how do we make it actionable for somebody to kind of do something about it? And then as Bertha sends us, because Bertha is going to send us the information and then we have to process it in time in terms of the different organizations that where we think some of these suggestions might fit, right? Do they fit with the county council or community on hate, or should there be a totally new group that is kind of championing these? So we need to kind of think of a suggested place where some of these are going to fit as well.
You know, in this listening session, are we going to have any kind of not an agenda, but sort of helping people think, like, you know, spacing it out to from hate crimes, hate incidences, microaggressions, school issues, bullying. Do we want to do that, or are we just going to have it completely open mic?
Let me think about that. I'll probably let me reach out to some of my friends at AIM, Action in Montgomery. I know they do a bunch of listening sessions all the time. I think it's more of you give a pointer and then kind of let people go from there. Their listening sessions are generally in person, and then they kind of break up into groups. So again, with the registration going out sooner, we should have a good idea of how many people we're expecting, right? So if Bertha says, well, we have 10 people, great, we can manage that. If she says, well, we have 50 people that are registered, then we might need to do breakout sessions where we kind of break out into individual rooms, at least 2-3 rooms, so that we're giving more people a chance to talk to us. So I think we'll have to kind of go through that a little bit, because if it's too many people and everybody wants to talk, then they're going to be more upset that we didn't get to listen. But yeah, we need to.
And in terms of moderating the actual Zoom, our team can take care of that. So you don't have to be worrying about, moving or having
Okay,
people.
yes.
Well, I don't agree with that, right? I mean, I need to think about that.
Well, we don't have to. We just want to facilitate.
Yeah, so it's a Muslim listening session. I don't, I know that it looks like the county is objective and disengaged, but I think that we should have empathetic people doing the moderating.
Actually, let me clarify. By moderation, I meant, if you do breakup groups, we organize that.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, you're
Yes.
So the actual running of the Zoom, not doing, the speaking or any of that.
Okay,
Absolutely not. That's not what I meant.
I was wondering. Okay, thanks,
No.
Thank you for that clarification. Did you, Adela, did you understand it? And I was just off. Did you?
Yeah, I understood what she was saying, and I generally, if it's a presentation and we have a bunch of people, then I would not be wanting to deal with the technology issues at that point. So I would rather somebody else take care of them. And if we have to do a breakout room, or if we have to do those poll questions, I would rather somebody else take care of it, so I can focus on my talking. The one thing I do want to mention to you, Ilhan, is would you be comfortable moderating? Either you or Amber?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Amber is also very good. So if Amber wants to do it, let her do it.
Okay, yeah. And the reason I'm saying that, I'll definitely be there, but I'm actually overseas at that point. So I'm attending the session, but just in case I have technology difficulties, I just don't want to be kind of throwing.
How old is your oldest child, son, whatever? How old is he?
Oh, my oldest daughter, she's graduated. She's working.
Well, I was wondering, we could have some young person monitor the chat. I'd really like to bring some young people in to monitor the chat, and to say there's a question in the chat, there's a comment in the chat.
Okay.
So we need a chat monitor, and I'd really like that to be somebody intern type person.
Okay.
And maybe, Brother Fredos, maybe there's somebody in your community who would be interested in doing that.
I could try. Yeah, we have a young adults group. I can chat with them, but
that'd be
Sister
great.
Adela can also change.
Yeah, and just say we need somebody to help monitor the chat, and maybe even the chat rooms. They could help monitor the chat rooms, and take notes, for example. I mean, we have lots of work if we get a good enough crowd for these young people. That would be nice.
Okay, I'll check. We normally use this. Two comments from me. Number one is the earlier about the moderating we had before the breakup session. I think Bertha and her team handled it very well. Remember that we had that the first, right?
Yeah.
And so number two is on this, bringing the young fellow. They are much faster than we are. So yeah.
Excuse me. I just refuse to take that.
Sorry. But on the technology,
No. I've often had to teach young people. Sorry, not letting you go there.
okay.
I'm a grandmother of 10, but I still
Really?
pretty good
Okay.
in the technology.
You're
So
only as old as you think you are. So if you
Right,
kind of defy the
exactly. If
odds,
you let yourself go there, Brother Fendos, that's fine, but
yeah,
I'm not going
I like your spirit. I'll take along.
there. Okay.
okay. We are over now. So any last minute comments, questions?
No,
Do?
gracias por tu ayuda, Berta.
De nada. A
Ganun.
ustedes. To you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Berta. All right. Assalamualaikum.
Michael,
Welcome, everybody. Bye, Berta. Good night. Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
Berta.